Welcome to Video 3 introducing the Reformed Entry-Level Certificate in English. I'm Kirsten Wilcock, Subject Officer at WJEC for English Qualifications. In this video, we will be looking at Component 3, Practical Assessment. Component 3 is the practical assessment of communication skills. There will be two compulsory tasks set by WJEC, each in two parts, to be taken when the centre determines. The weighting for this component is 15% of the overall qualification. The communication practical assessment tasks and their assessment criteria will be released on the 1st of September annually via the WJEC secure website, which centres should then download. This is the same process that centres should follow in accessing the topic test materials for Component 2. The communication practical assessment tasks will change on an annual basis. They will be marked by the centre and moderated by WJEC. The time allowed for the completion of each of the two tasks is 1 hour, although centres have flexibility as to how they allocate time between the two parts of each task, depending on the needs of the candidates. The two parts to each task do not have to be sat concurrently, but it may benefit candidates to have both parts assessed within the same week. Again, as with Component 2, centres need to ensure that they are using the correct assessment for the candidate's year of entry. For example, in September 2017, there will be two sets of topic tasks and practical assessments on the WJEC secure website, those for 2018 entry and 2019 entry. The tasks will be carried out under a limited level of control. Learners may work with others in the preparation, but they must be assessed on their own responses to the task. Teachers should collect any stimulus material, research, notes, etc. at the end of each preparation period. No scripting of any part of this component is allowed. Communications should be prepared but natural and spontaneous. It must be emphasised that this is not a reading task. Candidates are allowed to use brief notes only. Teachers are permitted to encourage, prompt, or ask questions during the assessments in order to support the candidate's performance. Teacher assessment should be either directly at the time of response or by listening to an electronic recording of a learner's response. Unlike the legacy entry-level certificate in English requirements, for this qualification all candidates' assessment must be recorded and retained until the end of the course. In lieu of a recording, centres may submit a full transcript of a candidate's performance. Both tasks must be recorded and be provided either as an audio or audio-visual file. A sample of candidates' work across both tasks will be required for moderation. The first practical assessment task will require candidates to present a point of view in two different forums. Firstly, participating in a group discussion, and secondly, as an individual presentation. The issue for consideration for the group discussion will be set by WJEC, and will be the same issue for both parts of this first task. As part of the group discussion, candidates will be required to express opinions on the topic with other members of the group, give reasons for their opinions, and respond to the contributions of others. Here you can see one of the stimulus texts to encourage candidates' discussion on why some people are vegetarian or others eat meat. Group size ideally would be 2 or 3 candidates, and in some cases it would be acceptable for the teacher or other adult to form the group with an individual candidate. Built into the time for each part of both tasks is preparation time. Candidates can therefore share ideas about the text supplied or other research they have conducted ahead of the formal assessment session. In the second part of Task 1, Presentation does not mean a formal presentation with visual aids to an audience. More, this should be seen as an opportunity for the individual candidate to talk about their views on the specified topic. Candidates will prepare for their individual presentation following the group discussion, and they may use notes or ideas that they've used in their group discussion to inform their presentation. In structuring the first task in this way, the group discussion followed by the individual presentation, the group discussion will help inform the issue and support the candidate giving their views in their presentation. The second practical assessment task will centre around the world of work, hence feeding into the preparation for the functional writing in Component 1. Both parts of this task will stem from a job advertisement or specification provided by WJEC. This is the example of the job advertisement for the second communication task from the sample assessment materials. This may be read and discussed with the candidates ahead of the formal assessment. The first part of this task will be a short interview presentation. Here, candidates will be required to adapt their presentation skills, use appropriate tone and language, and present information relevant to the task. As with other extended responses required in Components 1 and 2, candidates will be supplied with bullet points to help them plan and sustain their presentation. The second part to Task 2 is the panel interview, which provides an opportunity to include other learners in non-assessed roles as part of the interview panel, but only where the centre considers this is helpful to the candidate. The teacher may be the sole interviewer and such use the questions supplied by WJEC. Here the candidates will be tested on their ability to respond to questions and provide detail and information as requested, as well as using an appropriate tone and language for the context. Here you can see the questions set by WJEC as part of the sample assessment materials, from which 4 should be selected by the teacher based on the candidate's ability. You will notice from the communication assessment criteria that no mention is made of speaking or listening. Therefore, sign-supported English, signed English, and Makaton would be acceptable. However, British Sign Language, as it is classified as a language in its own right, would not. Should you have any questions or queries regarding Component 3, the practical assessment, please contact WJEC colleagues. To gain a further understanding of the fully reformed entry-level certificate in English qualification, please view the further 2 videos in this series.